Today, I wanted to nerd out about one of my favorite movies of all time, Look Back. Look Back is many things. On the surface, it's an anime movie adaptation of Tatsuki Fujimoto's one-shot manga of the same name. It's a coming-of-age story that follows two elementary school girls in a small town whose friendship blossoms through their shared love of creating manga. Fujino is an overly confident girl who revels in the compliments given by those around her. Kiyomoto, on the other hand, is a socially awkward recluse who doesn't even go to school out of fear of other people, and her sole focus in life is drawing. But if you dig deeper, it's actually an autobiography of sorts of creator Tatsuki Fujimoto's life, who you might know from these. Outside of direct references to Chainsaw Man and Goodbye Eri and the character's names literally spelling out Fujimoto, there's many other ways that Fujimoto alludes to his life as an artist. Ways in which I'm sure that many artists can actually find relatable. For example, there's scenes in here where people ask Fujino why she's so committed to drawing, including her family getting concerned about her future. And her friends worried that she'll be looked at as weird. Fun fact, that part in the story where Fujino gets mad at Kimoto for being better than her at drawing. It's not just a relatable moment. True fans actually know that this is a small reference to Fujimoto saying that he wanted to kill his art classmates for being better than him. But above all, Look Back is a love letter to manga, drawing, and art in general. Unlike his other works, which are drenched in their bizarreness and interesting sense of humor. Look Back is grounded, raw, and overtly human. Anime adaptations can be hard to nail, especially when the source material is so beloved. It needs to be able to upgrade the source material without straying too far away from it. If you follow it too much, you essentially get a slideshow and the question in your head, why didn't I just read the original? But then stray away from it too much and the adaptation won't be faithful. And mix that in with budgeting problems and... Ironically enough, even Chainsaw Man has this problem. Not everyone liked the animation and the direction, but that race trailer looks incredible though, bro. Oh my god, I cannot wait. Luckily, thanks to Studio Durian and Kiyotaka Oshiyama, Look Back leans into the god tier side of the anime adaptation spectrum. I love when shows and movies fully utilize the show don't tell form of storytelling. When there's no one there to directly explain what's happening and why, and just letting what's on screen do the talking. The best and perhaps the most famous example of this in Look Back is when Fujino runs in the rain. And this scene is the most popular in the manga and is a staple of the story, and it only lasts 2 pages. But here, it's a full minute of pure emotion and magic. The sound of the rain hitting the ground, Fujino dipping her hand into a puddle, the gorgeous music swelling. All of it coalesces to not just explain how she feels to the audience, but to allow you to feel what she feels at that moment. And that's just one scene. There are plenty of other examples in here that help elevate the source material. There are the dynamic POV shots of Fujino and Kimoto running while holding hands. This scene where the audio cuts out and Fujino drops her phone. There's several different montages. And of course, many of the subtle details in the cinematography. Let's look at an example. This is a pivotal scene in the story that acts as a turning point. It's when Kimoto tells Fujino that she wants to go to art school. She doesn't want to work for her anymore. Fujino wants Kimoto to keep working for her as her background artist, especially now that their manga just got serialized. It's what she's been working toward her whole life. Damn it, Kimoto, you're fumbling the bag. Bill Gates dropped out of college. Kimoto, on the other hand, wants to stop relying on Fujino and go to college. And this is when they start growing apart. They want to go different directions in their career paths. And this tree here in the middle is able to show that divide. When Kimoto tells Fujino, this is something that Fujino actually completely understands. This sentiment of wanting to improve is something that's actually shared between the both of them. It's not a coincidence that this is what ends their argument, and the framing shows this. Before, they were on opposite sides of the tree, but now, notice how the frame shifted so that they're on the same side of the tree. Then, it cuts to birds flying away to signal growth, with one of them seemingly missing from formation. As much of a story Look Back is on art, it's also a story on grief and loss. And this brings me into what I want to talk about last, the title. Admittedly, I didn't like the title that much when I first heard it. Felt like too generic, you know, I don't know. But that changed when I learned the different meanings it has in connection to the story. First, it's the name of the 4-panel manga that Kimino drew in the alternate universe where she gets saved. Second, it's a fitting title for an autobiography. It's a look back on Fujimoto's career up to that point, even if the details slightly differ from reality. Like he didn't even reference Fire Punch. You can sneak in just at least one direct reference to Fire Punch. Third, it's a reminder of sorts to pause and take a look back. To Fujino specifically, it's a reminder to look at who's got her back, Kyomoto. Fujino was too focused on her career that she wasn't able to reconcile with Kyomoto and appreciate the time she had with her before it was too late. And the title encompasses that importance of being able to look back, not to only recall those happy memories, but to cherish them fondly in order to move forward. Reconciliation with death can only happen through creation. In an interview, Tatsuki Fujimoto stated that the inspiration behind Look Back was this quote. It was a casual line that he read in a random book, but it really resonated with him. This is the central theme of Look Back, according to him. Kyomoto wasn't just a friend of Fujino's, she was a massive fan. Even after their falling out, she still continued to support her work. Multiple volumes on her shelves, the posters on her wall, the reader questionnaire left unfilled on her desk, and the autographed jacket from the first time they met. The ability to make other people happy, the way to touch the hearts of thousands of fans just like Kyomoto. She needs to keep going. It's what she would have wanted. Lastly, the title is also a reference to Oasis. One of my favorite details is how in the first scene the word don't can be found. And in the last scene, the words in anger can be found here in the corner. And if you put this together, the full title of the movie is revealed. Don't look back in anger.